In today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about how you, as a Canadian resident, can start and set up an LLC here in the US. So you probably clicked on this video because you are a Canadian resident or you live in Canada and you want to learn more about how you can set up an LLC here in the US while living in Canada. Hi, my name is Andrew. I'm from Ulai Law, where we help entrepreneurs just like you start your businesses without dealing with the complicated legal forms. Our done-for-you service is backed by over 2,044 five-star Google reviews, and we can help you start your business too. I am a recent law school graduate. I am currently awaiting my bar results, and in the process, I'm helping entrepreneurs like you start your business. So let's get straight to the purpose of this video. You're in Canada and you want to start an LLC in the USA and you want to be able to operate that LLC from Canada. Probably asking yourself, is that really possible? It is totally possible. In this video, I'm going to tell you how you can start a totally legit online business in the USA while living in Canada. Okay, so you might be wondering why you want to do this, right? Why start a company in the USA when you can do it in Canada or somewhere else? Well, what I'm about to say might be debatable, but starting a US LLC comes with major benefits. What benefits might you receive? You will be part of a global economy. The US market is one of the best markets to be a part of. The US market has led many entrepreneurs to experiencing major economic success and growth. You will have better access to resources like payment systems. Do you ever run into problems where your merchant account is placed on hold? Is your merchant account marked as high risk? Are you unable to access your funds? Opening a US LLC will lead to better access to payment systems. And if you need to scale in the future, then a US LLC is something you want to seriously consider opening. You could say I'm the CEO of a company, which is based out of the US. The question you are probably asking yourself is, who can do this? Anyone who has an online business that doesn't need to be physically in the US can start a company in the US. Maybe you have a blogging business, an SEO agency, a software development business, an e-commerce business, a trading business. All of these are businesses you can operate under your US LLC. As long as you're not in the US, you can start a company in the US. In fact, it's a special option and you're not supposed to be a legal resident in the USA in order to be able to do this. So what are the different ways by which you can start a company in the US by being outside of the US? I'm not going to tell you the different types of companies out there. In Canada, you have your own classified business, which are based on their own merits and demerits. It has their own merits and demerits, and I believe one of the easiest businesses you, as a Canadian resident, can start is a US LLC. Any Canadian resident can incorporate a company, even without going there. Most of us have a perception that having a company incorporated in USA is very costly and requires huge capital, but this is not the case. LLC incorporation in the USA is very easy and most cost effective. If you want additional guidance or additional explanations, I do recommend that you speak with a trained professional. A trained professional will be able to inform you whether an LLC is best for your situation and what state is best for setting up your LLC. Even after incorporation, they should have expertise to help you maintain your company. International tax planning, bank account setup, merchant processing, accounting, and bookkeeping, required registration and filing, rather than relying on online consultant. Before you go ahead to understand what the different steps of the formation of the LLC in the USA are, it is important to decide what type of company you wish to form. The following steps will guide you through the process of establishing a company in the USA. First, you're going to choose the name of the company. It should be unique and must be available in the state where you want to establish your company. You need to provide a registered agent who has a physical address in the state where you are forming a company. They must be available during the business hours to sign the legal documents as and when required. The third thing you're going to want is a federal employer identification number. This is an optional step. In this, you can also go and apply for the federal employer identification number and certificate of authentication. If you plan to open a bank in the USA, then you should have these things. Only then can you apply for it. The fourth thing you're going to want is certificate of authentication. This is also an optional step. In case you need to open a bank account in Canada or to produce a proof that you have a company in the US, either a US corporation or a US LLC, then you need to present a certificate of authentication or apostille. These are the simple steps that will help you form a company in the USA. Make sure that you run through each of these steps before applying for establishing a LLC in the US. Besides, you can also seek assistance from a professional firm that can help you with the process of company formation here in the US. US laws allow foreigners to register a company in the USA. For this, you need not necessarily visit the USA. You can do it from anywhere in the world with the help of an incorporation agency who will register your company and act as a registered agent for you. Once you register your company in the USA, you can get a US bank account for your company and start your business and operate it remotely from your home country. Before you start with your company registration, you need to take care of a few things as below. Again, decide the name of your company. You need to choose a name for your company. And US business entity names are state specific. Hence, it is most likely that the name you choose is available for registration, unless it is too generic. Next, you're going to want to decide the type of company you're going to form. When you decide to set up a company in the USA, the next question in your mind will be, what type of company to register? For a non-resident, there are two types of companies you can choose from: C Corporation and LLC, Limited Liability Company. Both types have their own advantages. Now, the question is whether you go for C Corp or LLC. It depends on your requirements. LLC is a pass-through tax entity, meaning income from an LLC will pass through to the owners, in the same manner it does with a sole proprietorship or general partnership. However, LLCs can also be considered to be treated as a C corporation from a tax standpoint. On the other hand, C Corp is taxed as separate entities. They are also subject to double taxation if the profits are distributed to the owners as dividends. C Corp is often the preferred incorporation choice of developing businesses since owners can hold different types of stock interests. But for small businesses, LLC is preferred. As you move on, you may be able to simply convert your LLC's assets into a new C Corp. Next, you're going to want to decide on the state to incorporate. Being a foreigner, you can choose to form your company in any of the 52 states in the USA. However, different states have different rules and different taxes. For example, Delaware has fewer taxes for the first year, but it will be high compared to other states from the second year. Wyoming, New Mexico has a least tax. New York has a rule that after incorporation, you have to publish your company in 2 news daily, which may cost you additional dollars. Hence, your cost of registration may vary depending on the state you are going to incorporate. To sum up this entire video, you as a Canadian resident can open a US LLC here in the States. Be sure to get the right professional help to make sure that you set up your business correctly. If you had any questions about anything that I talked about today, please click the link in the description box below to schedule your free consultation with a trained professional who will be able to advise you and who will be able to provide you with guidance and more information as to how you can set up an LLC here in the States as a Canadian resident. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos. It's time to invest in yourself. It's time to rise.